So, dear friends, we are in the third chapter, and in the third chapter, we are looking at various vibhutis and their effects. When you do samyama on different aspects of existence, what kind of results are obtained. Later on, Patanjali will say that all these vibhutis that are coming up, they are in a sense manifestation of the greater and greater freedom that a yogi gets as he moves towards the source of creation. So these are, in a way, byproducts of that journey. So the source of creation is the Purusha, and the journey is inwards. In that journey, first thing that we begin to understand is that my lifestyle should be on the principle of yama and niyama. After that, I developed the ability to sit still for a long time. Without that, it won't happen. Chitta needs some basic gravity. That will only come when in your behavior satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, asteya, aparigraha, shauch, santosh, swadhyaya, ishwar pranidhan, tapas. These are there for a considerable amount of time. Then you develop the ability or eligibility to get into asana. From asana, once you remain in asana, slowly through abhyasa, you develop an ability to sit still for a long time. So our friend here, he sat for 1 hour 20 minutes without moving an inch. If you do that for 2.5 hours, it is known as asana siddhi. बिल्कुल सांस के अलावा कुछ नहीं हिलना चाहिए. 2.5 hours. That is asana siddhi. Once you do that, then you are eligible for pranayama. Shwasa prashwasa gatir vichcheda, then the breath. So in the beginning, yamas and niyamas, they calm down the agitations of thought which will not allow you to sit still. There are many people, no, I can't sit still, appa. Not possible. Automatically, you should understand his life is not in accordance with yama and niyama. That is why he can't sit still. It is not a thing that we should boast of, oh, I am very fast. It is not modernization. Going down in evolution. So if you can aram se effortlessly sit still, sthiram sukham asanam, like a rock, means your life has been in accordance with yama and niyama. Without that, it is not possible to sit still. So that day we did a competition. We sat. Who sits for a longest time without moving? So lesser the time, more is in discordance with yama and niyama, the life. Higher the time, more the life is in accordance with yama and niyama. So this is a test that you can clinically use to know how much is the person's life in accordance with yama and niyama. Objective test. Just ask him, sit still and try to remain still using your maximum potential as long as you can. Anybody crossing 20 minutes is eligible for higher. You can take him to the next step. You can go into pranayama aspects. Okay. Then from the pranayama, once the yogi becomes more and more still, shwas prashwasa gatir vichcheda happens. Then there comes an ability that I can close down the gates of my body. Now dware pure dehe. This body has 9 gates, and also all the sense organs which naturally have a tendency to move outward. I can shut them down. So you get the key of each sense organ and you can shut them down. That shutting down can only happen when your breath has become very slow. Without making the breath slow, it is not possible to shut down the sense organs. So therefore, After pranayama comes pratyahara. Then after pratyahara, antaranga yoga starts. And then there is dharana, deshabandha chittasya dharana. That desha is space. It is not external space, it is internal space. Because pratyahara has already happened. Deshabandha means here the focus is on the chitta, the pratyaya of the chitta. What is the chitta reflecting? So initially with effort, again and again bring your mind towards your chitta, non-judgmentally, dharana. And then from dharana, there comes a flow. You effortlessly start moving inwards. You always, effortlessly your all sense organs shut down and you have a tendency to move inward. Once that becomes a flow, you come into a flow state. Ekatanata is flow. Then you are in dhyana. And then with that flow, continuous flow that is happening, more and more purification of the chitta takes place. And then there comes a state when chitta is so purified that it only shows the object of the chitta. Okay? And there is no projection of the observer. So the observer becomes one with the reflection of the chitta. Whatever that is reflected on the chitta, the observer merges with it, becomes one with it. There is no separate observer. Then the true essence of whatever chitta is reflecting is revealed. Okay? That is samadhi. Now, this samadhi has been described to be of three types. Based on where you are, what is the chitta reflecting? So, in the beginning, chitta reflects the grahya, that is the different objects of the senses. For example, if you close your eyes and try to go inwards, the things that you will get is, okay, my hometown, my friend, some conversation, some worries about the future, some reflections of the past. These are the things of the content of the chitta, correct? Now, these are all grahya. Grahya means what the sense organs and objects have touched and you have experienced or you project that you will experience. Even that, what is coming on the chitta will give you greater and greater insight about you. So here Patanjali says, samskara sakshat karnat purva jati jnanam. So samskara are latent impressions by direct perception of those. He says sakshat karna. Sakshat means it is not imagination. You will, as you directly perceive something on your chitta, it will give you an insight behind it, why it is there. Okay? In the beginning, it will be abstract. Something will come which has no relevance. You will not be able to understand. Then suddenly something else very different will come. Those ways, it will come and go. But as you continue, and your focus is on those samskaras. So, what is the meaning of samskara, anyone? What do you think? Samskar means what? Samskar ka matlab impression on the chitta. Now, I am seeing you. I am seeing you because through my eyes, there is an impression on my chitta. So, is that a samskar?
Along with kleshas, along with some or the other emotion attached to it.
That shloka you remember?
Yes.
1.33. Klesha 1.36. Klesha mulaha karmashayo. दृष्ट अदृष्ट जन्म वेदनीय. क्लेश मूल कर्माशयो. Wherever, in whichever karma, in whichever life, whether this life or in the womb of the mother or in the previous lives, wherever there was intense involvement of the emotions in the form of intense raga, dvesha, fear, abhinivesha, attachment, hatred, fear. Whenever these three were intensely there, the depth with which, the intensity with which those emotional energies were involved with that image or sound or that instance, the more deeper roots, klesha mulaha, it will get into my chitta. It will go deep in my chitta. And for that much longer time or with that much intensity, this kind of, in the form of image, sound, picture, that samskara will come on my mind. Now you sit and suddenly you see that there is an image or a scenario that goes in front of your chitta. And in that scenario, along with it, you also see certain kind of emotions being generated. So it is heavy, it is weighted by the emotions. Now, if you do samyama on that, so what is happening here, as I told you in the last class also, that there is shabda, artha and jnana that are all merged together. What I see, like we were talking about, how do you know the language of different species or the birds? No? So when I hear the sound, I project my own impression. It is a bird, the sound is good, the sound is bad, and that prevents real hearing what the bird is communicating. So in the same way, the samskaras that are coming on the chitta, they also have a message. They also have a hidden insight. But that doesn't come to us, because when those samskaras come on our chitta, we put our own viparyayas. Okay, I want this memory, I do not want this memory. Or we have our own chatter that goes on with it. So that continuous inner commentary that goes on with whatever we see in the mind, knowingly, unknowingly, that doesn't allow the samyama to happen. But if one is really able to establish oneself as a non-judgmental observer, and of course, after going through the proper processes of yama, niyama, sitting still for a long time, calming down the breath, closing down all the sense organs, then those chitta's impressions will become very vivid to you. Now also that is going on, but that is not very vivid. It is very subtle. When it comes and goes only, we don't realize. Why that happens? That happens because our consciousness is still, there is no pratyak chetana adhigamo. There is bahya chetana. Chetana is already moving out. In that flux, inner world is revealing itself in a very subtle way, which is imperceptible. But now, after pratyahara in dharana, the inner world becomes very vivid to me. And once it becomes vivid, once I start really seeing the samskara without the projection of good and bad over it, without judging the samskara, I slowly, from the tip of the iceberg, I start seeing its complete structure. I see the complete structure of that karma samskara, how it is formed, and how each time a particular instance contributed to this. There is one kind of a emotion once experienced in a similar situation. Whenever you experience that kind of a emotion, those kind of memories only will come. When you hear a sad song, all sad memories, one after another, keep coming. So it will bring a trail with it. And that trail, that thing that goes on, it will have its own story. And if you really go down to that story, it will tell you Purva Jati Jnanam. What has been happening with me? What are the repeated traumas that my chitta has been experiencing? And what were those scenarios in which that has been happening? Completely, it will tell you that it is Purva Jati doesn't mean previous births only, it is within this birth also, in your childhood also. So many a times we see figures, faces, instances which we have not seen before. हमने कभी उन्हें देखा भी नहीं है, वैसे चेहरे सामने आते हैं. तो वो सब चीजों के पीछे हमें उसको see, our problem is we are not able to see the whole picture because we do not have that ability or that stherium. As soon as it starts revealing its secrets, we are swayed away by it. We become judgmental or distracted. That requires that ability of the chitta to remain there. Then, Gautama, the Buddha, was able to see many, many births. Osho was able to see 7 births going back. Complete thing. So, Antahkarana, is there, which has samskaras of everything that you have gone through. Okay. In fact, in Bhagavad Puran, it is written that in the womb of the mother, also the baby once experiences intense emotions of the past 100 lives before being born. Okay. And there also they say that the pain that the baby undergoes while coming out, it decides that I will free myself from the sufferings in this life, and later on forgets. So like that it is. So in the same way, Patanjali goes further. Pratyayasya parachitta jnanam. Pratyaya is, as we know, it is the reflection of any object on the chitta. The chitta is like a transparent mirror. It can either reflect the grahya or it can reflect the grahita. Means the purusha. So if I am sitting, if there is a siddha purush who has developed considerable ability to do dharana, samyama on his chitta, if he is sitting and focused on his own chitta, and he is seeing the samskaras, or chitta is becoming more and more pure, and there is a calm, serene chitta which is reflecting the purusha, say for example, he's reached that kind of a state. All his superficial samskaras are, or superficial samskara clean means sabija samadhi. Latent samskaras also clean means nirbija samadhi. In that kind of a state, if some yogi is sitting, focused on his own chitta, then you enter his cabin and sit in front of him. Now his chitta has nothing. So your chitta will fall on his chitta. Then he will know what this is going on, with what question this fellow has come, what are his fears, what are his worries. उसका खुद का कुछ है ही नहीं, तो जो आएगा उसका पूरा रिफ्लेक्ट कर देगा उसको. प्रत्ययस्य परचित्त ज्ञानम. There are siddhas like that. Before you ask them, they will tell you your question and answer. I have met some people like this. So Lao Tzu says, when a yogi doesn't have a heart of his own, he uses others' heart to live this life. So whoever is there, their pain becomes his pain, their pleasure becomes his pleasure. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi paramo mata. Atmaupamyena sarvatra. Seeing everything as his own self, samam, equal to everybody. Pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham. Others sukha as his sukha, others dukha as his dukha. Sa yogi paramo mata. It's the greatest among all the yogis. So a yogi has no heart of his own. That is why he naturally gets a parachitta jnana. It's very natural. For this, first our chatter should stop. No, हमारा दुकान बंद होना चाहिए ना पहले. हमारा ही दुकान इतना है कि दूसरे का दुकान कब देखेंगे? दूसरे का देखने के लिए टाइम नहीं. Empty yourself. Okay, so Patanjali again says that it doesn't mean that you have to be scared that, okay, there are people who know everything that goes on in every nook and corner of my mind. This nature has some laws where he will only get an overall impression that, okay, there is fear about something, he will not know exact detail. Okay, it is something which the nature has maintained a law that it will respect your privacy. It will not reveal even to the yogi the exact details, but he will get an overall feeling that this person has come with a fear or grief, or he has come with a desire, intense desire. Whatever is more intense within you, he will get. Or this person does japa of this nama, those kind of thing. I remember I was sitting in front of a person, and he instantly told me, so how is your Rama Japa going? Those days I used to do lot of Rama Japa. No communication, nothing, never met him before. Just sat there. In fact, when I sat there, that time also my Japa was going on. So how is your Japa going on? Continue, it is good. It's shocking. So as soon as you sit, his chitta starts showing Rama, 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 Rama. So, kahan se aa raha hai? Ye aaya iska Rama, Rama. He tells Rama. Your Rama, how is it going on? Japa. But he will not know exact details of all the corners of your chitta overall. So not certainly tat sa alam, but not its exact basis. The alambanam or exact structure will not be known. Tasya vishayi bhutatvat. Because that is not the object of samyama, and that is avishayi. Avishayi means the yogi is not interested in knowing your story. And his only intention is to help you. So he doesn't want to, take enjoyment in what is going on in your chitta. Okay. So that kind of a detail is not revealed. It is out of reach. Then comes the next aspect of it. How these yogis, we see this, that they suddenly vanish, not seen, or seen by only few. Others were there, they were not able to see. Shankaracharya, do you know, when he went to take sannyasa, his mother allowed him. But mother just asked one promise, that when I die, I want you to be around me. Apart from this, I don't ask anything. So he was on full Bharat Brahman. And when his mother was not well, he was somewhere in Uttarakhand. And you should see this movie, Shankaracharya movie. Is very nice. It is in Geo Cinema. So mother is about to die, and lo, Shankaracharya is there in Kerala. He enters. All disciples, everybody shocked. He's with his mother, he's talking. Those days, phone and all were not there. But then exactly at the same time, he's also talking to people, giving discourse in Uttarakhand. So, Kaya Roop Sanyama Tad Grahya Shakti Stambe Chakshuhu Prakash Asamprayoge Antardhanam. What is the meaning of Antardhanam? Antardhan means that something is visible. It was a Bahya Dhanam. In the beginning, it was Bahya, means my Chakshu. The light emitted from your body enters my eyes. That is when I perceive you. Correct? If your body doesn't emit a light, and that light doesn't enter my eye, I will not be able to see you. I will be able to see only those things which reflect light on my eyes. Even if something comes onto your blind spot, you will not see. No, there is a blind spot. There you move, one spot comes where it disappears. So in the same way, the yogi, by doing samyama on his body, is able to completely absorb the light that is emitted from his body within himself, and doesn't allow that light to enter into the eye of the perceiver. And through that very, very scientific mechanism, these yogis vanish. Though they are very much there, you will not be able to see. So, by making samyama on the form of the body, by not allowing the light emitted from his body to reach the perceiver, chakshu prakasha asamprayoge. Asamprayoga word comes before also. Where does it come? Asamprayoga और कौन से सूत्र में आता है? अनुभूत विषया स्मृति ही. In smriti, what do? There is a inability of the chitta to let go of what has been experienced. वो उसको छोड़ नहीं पाता है. Asamprayoga means inability to let go. Correct? So here the prakasha is not letting, he doesn't let go the prakasha out of his body. I will not allow the light from my body to go out. It will remain within me. And with that, what he does? He blocks the perceiver's grahya shakti. Perceiver has his senses, no? So he has there is a drishya shakti and drashta shakti. Drig and darshan shakti. So that darshan shakti is about perceiving the prakriti. So I have that shakti, that's why through my senses I am able to perceive. But yogi blocks my shakti because he doesn't allow the light from his body to enter into my eyes. And through this mechanisms, yogis become imperceptible. They are not visible. Similarly, it can be extended to other aspects of the senses. Like if he blocks the sound vibrations that are going out of his speech, then in a particular frequency that you will be able to hear, he will block it. And it will only go into a frequency whichever being he wants to communicate, it will communicate. So in the same way, you can put it across to other sense organs, where only few people will be able to experience those sensations, or when the yogi is talking to you, you will be able to see and talk, but she will not know what is going on. So these are extrasensory perceptions. These are beyond the range of the perception that we perceive. In Bhagavad Gita also there comes this mention, no? Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pasya me yogam aishwaram. When Krishna showed his Vishwarupa, only Arjuna was able to see. But it was right there in the middle of the battlefield. So it means that it changed to a different frequency. And it required apparatus also like that. They say, you wear that virtual reality thing, and then you are in that world, nobody else is in that world. Because it is a technology like that. So he also gave him a VR glass. Okay, you wear it. Now you see, I will show you my show. And this is the way that the very, property of the sense organs can be changed, and also the way the delivery is done, that frequency is changed. And that is why right now also, there are many levels of vibrations of energy which are imperceptible to us. There are many sounds which are right now there which we cannot hear. Only those with refined those senses only can hear, can perceive, and can interact. So here one important thing is, we see these patients who have schizophrenia. They also listen, see things which others cannot see, hear, or listen. So one is about extrasensory perception of these subtler aspects. Second aspect is when chitta becomes very impure, and chitta has lot of raga and dvesha into it, then it is also possible that the vikshiptata of the chitta becomes so intense that also makes the person lose touch with external reality. Okay, so chitta becomes so distressing and so much impure that the impure chitta ukara, becomes more dominant even than akara. Okay, so there, see, imagine that there is a lake which is going haywire. No, there are a lot of stones being thrown in the lake, and there is a lot of violence that is going on. That lake will not be able to reflect the sky or anything that is falling on the lake. So completely, the havoc that is created in the lake itself becomes the focus of life. That draws his attention even more. So one is a state where the lake has become so calm and serene that not only the sky, you can also see the very base of the lake, and you can also see very subtle organisms that are moving in the lake, which were not perceptible for a person whose lake was little muddy. Okay, if a lake is muddy, you will not be able to see what kind of fishes are there, what beautiful, organisms are there, microorganisms are there, shining organisms are there, or what kind of beautiful stones are there. Those aspects will be only visible to a person whose lake is very crystal clear. Now, he will also perceive things which generally people do not perceive, because generally the lake is never so clean. On the other hand, there comes a situation when lake is so dirty that it is completely opaque, and it is not even reflecting the sky. The obvious thing, like there is a tree by the side of the lake, its reflection should naturally fall, but that is also not falling, because the lake has become so dirty, that now it is producing something which is within itself, it has created a havoc, and that is drawing the person's attention, and there in that state also he is able to perceive things which usually people do not perceive. So there is a lot of kind of a interconnection between various aspects of the chitta, and it is completely in a vikshipta sthiti. So this is what is there in schizophrenia. Now, it may be possible that when there is a havoc created in the lake, then some subtler aspect of the deeper aspect of the lake also may be mixed with this havoc. Okay, so but definitely it doesn't make any sense. So the initial aspect of treatment in such things is that you should be able to bring at least some rest to the chitta, so that first it reflects the natural things which have to be reflected. So therefore our focus is that we should bring them back in touch with reality. What is reality in our sense? So therefore the module that you teach in schizophrenia is little intense module. You will, if you properly see the module, then there is a stimulating practice, a relaxing practice, a stimulating practice, a relaxing practice. You do a breathing practice, you first do jogging, jumping, then you do mukhadoti. Correct? After that, you get up, then you perform the side bending, then you perform rapid forward, backward bending. Then you perform tiger breathing, rapid twisting. So rapid, then breathing, rapid, breathing. Like that, the module goes. Why? Because we want them to get in touch with reality by performing fast, intense practice. Then we want the chitta to calm down by connecting the breath to the body. Because the chale vate, chale chittam. Chitta and breath are very closely connected. So therefore, we have to understand this. Okay, then Patanjali goes further and says, Sopakramam, Nirupakramam, cha karma, tat sanyamad aparant jnana arishtebhyo va. Okay, so when you are saying aparant jnanam means when is this jivatma going to leave the body? Okay, so that kind of a jnana will come when yogi does samyama on two kinds of karmas. One is sa upakramam and other is nir upakramam. So what is the meaning of upakramam? It is a kind of a karma. Okay, so like there are different kinds of plants, and each plant has its own pattern of fructification, when the fruits will come or how the flowers will come. In certain seasons, only certain plants bloom. Certain plants bloom once in many years. So like that, depending on the gravity of the karma, depending on the external and internal factors of the environment and the chitta, there are certain sets of karmas which are fast in giving its fruits. There are certain kind of karmas which take longer time in fructification. Okay. So whenever, now this karma philosophy, you have to understand, if you really want to understand this properly, according to Yoga Shastra, what are the different kind of karma that you are aware of? Karmas, prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, agami karma. Agami is also known as kriyaman. Then, okay, these three karmas, prarabdha, sanchita, agami. Can anybody tell me what are those? What is sanchita karma? No, no. My question is, what is sanchita karma? Hmm. Hmm? See, first thing is you have to understand karma is something that I do or something that happens to me. What is karma? Both. Something we do. And sanchita is something that I have done in many, many lives, along with kleshas.
Also we experience, like you said, what is happening to you, but then some emotion is, वो भी तो हो रहा है, तो वो भी तो करनी चाहिए.
So, karma leads to karma phala. Okay. So generally, when people say karma, they also associate karma phala with it. Okay. So sanchita karma is whatever that I have done till now. And even now I continue to do. It goes into a storehouse. Its impression, it is very much there in my own antahakarana. Antahakarana is a very big database. We have no that 1000 TB सब memory रहता है, छोटे से chip में आ जाता है. So like that, there is a very small chip there. All the data. This is sanchita. Every jivatma carries its own sanchita baggage. This is your complete karma database up to now. From the time of creation till now, complete database. Here there is no problem. There is no missing of any data. Everything is perfect. This lies in antahkarana. This is sanchita karma. Now, out of this sanchita karma, in this sanchita karma, there are millions and millions of folders. So from those millions of folders into a bigger folder, imagine there is a disk, there is a big folder, sanchita. You click, open it, thousands of folders are there. Now, among those folders, each folder is prarabdha 1, prarabdha 2, prarabdha 3, prarabdha 4, prarabdha 5, prarabdha 6, prarabdha 1, 0, 0, 1, 8, 9, 7. Out of that, one folder, double click, open. Now, prarabdha 1, 0, 0, 2, 4, 7 is open. So, that particular prarabdha, now the folder has opened, and that prarabdha will now manifest in this life. You have all other folders within you right now. But currently, whatever that you are attracting in your life, is according to Prarabdha 100497. Okay. So this Prarabdha decides which family you will be born, which place of on the earth you will be born, with what kind of body and mind you will be born, who will be your siblings, what will be your gender, through which. So this is the Prarabdha given to you. You don't have any control over it. The folder opens, and based on the karma samskaras of that folder, like fragrance is taken by wind from one place to another, the Jivatma is taken from wherever it was to the womb of that mother. It is generally between 60th to 90th day, third month. Like, okay, a pigeon always lays its egg, on somebody else's nest, or the crow does that, quail does that. So in the same way, the fetus is developing, and once it takes the form of a kind of a body, then this Jivatma with that particular Prarabdha enters into it. So, there is a range. People say after 40th day, some texts say after 60th day, but definitely before 90th day, this Jivatma enters. Now, there is a congenital defect or not, how is the pregnancy going to, all those factors there, you would have seen that there are certain mothers who are very, poor, malnourished, living in villages. And when you see the baby is born very healthy, very strong. Whereas there are mothers who have all the facilities, who have taken all the care of every aspect of the nutrition, but the baby that is born is weak. So these are the aspect of karma where definitely those factors play a role, but if his prarabdha is very strong, he has come with good karma prarabdha, he will get a strong body in spite of external factors. So this folder is open, I am born with it. Now, everything that I am attracting in the life, is it my prarabdha, whatever that I attract in that life that goes on? So one is birth, other is death. These two things are fixed. Birth, where, what time, which scenario, what body, what family, fixed. Death, at that time only it is fixed. Where, what time, what situation. Now, my question to you is, in life, is everything fixed, or do I have freedom? Is everything governed by my Agami, they say, is what karma you do now. You are born with this range, fixed range. Birth, death, fixed. Now, within this, whatever you do is agami. It means now you are creating a new folder in the Sanchit Karma package. Okay. Some aspect of those karmas go into a Sanchita because its fructification requires a completely different scenario. So it will attract and create a different folder. Some aspect of the karma that you are doing are creating, situations within this folder itself. In this life itself, some aspect are creating results which are sa-upakramam. Sa-upakramam means what I am doing now, it will fructify in this life only. Nirupakramam is what I am doing now, it is going to fructify in some other life. Because the kind of karma that is done, it is not conducive for it to manifest in this scenario. So, my question to you is, in this life, between these two prarabdhas, how much of freedom do I? Does free will exist? That is the question. First these interns, then you people. What do you think? Free will exists or everything is fixed? No, my question is very clear. Yes or no? Does free will exist or there is no free will, everything is fixed? So how much percentage is the free will? How much percentage is everything fixed? How much percent do you give to free will out of 100? Yes, it is there. Is it 100% there or it is 20% there or 50% there? 100%. Okay.
Some part of it is fixed like the birthday, but we have the free will to perform the agami karma in this life. That is basically.
So only birth and death are fixed, but otherwise everything else is free. Okay. %20. 30% you can manipulate. We can also increase the percentage of free will. 50-50. How much percent fix? How much percent free will? Oh, this is also another school of thought. Everything is fixed. This is another school of thought. This is our yogi who sits for 1.5 hours. फिक्स्ड या फ्री विल? ये हरियाणा वाले सब फिक्स करके बैठे. हाँ, it is very specific percentage. This 30% में apart from birth and death, what else did you put? Can you give any example?
Where, in which family we be, station of what kind of personality. Those constantly devious and fixed, but it can make a choice according to your situations.
30-70. फ्री विल कितना?
70 is fixed.
वो exact opposite of what she said. She said free will 70, 30 fixed. You say 30 free will, 70 fixed. Yes, Amma.
20% fixed and 80%.
20% fixed and 80% free will. बोलो भाई, आप बताओ.
We always get around the same situations again and again, but still we have the free will to choose what we want to do.
Once again,
We like these karmas and the situations, I mean,
hmm.
comes up again and again the same way, but in different people and different places and everything. But we still have the free will to choose what we want to do.
Karmas come again and again, but we have the free will. Okay. From chat here, ideally we should not have any doership. What do you say, Appa? She said 20-80.
That is percentage wise, both are different aspects. But death and experiences are all fixed. That is 100% and 100% fixed will also.
100% 100% is, see, in my life, I have fixed lifespan. I live for 80 years. In that, how much time am I going to have free will to do what I want? And how much time am I going to be in a situation where I will not have any control? Always. So 100% free will. 100% fixed also. Oh, you are saying that the situation that are coming in my life, I have no control over it, but I will always have 100% freedom to respond to them. Very intelligent answer. So, see one example that I want to give you. See, this is my mobile. Okay. Now, if I leave it here, in the next 2 seconds, where is it going to be? Here. Now, this trajectory, if I leave the mobile here and coming down here, is fixed. How much percent? 100% fixed. Now, if through some technology, I break the atoms in this mobile and separate each and every atom and gather that also into a kind of a balloon or box, and then I open that box. Now, what are the probability that it is all the molecules are going to come here in 2 seconds? How much percent fixed? 0%. No, the molecule, the gravity doesn't act on an atom. It can go up, down, any direction. But if it is bound together, it is fixed. If it is expanded, it is free. So, in the same way, the laws that work on you depends on how much heavy karmashaya that you carry. Okay. The more you identify yourself with your mind-body complex, the more are the ragas and dveshas, the more is the adhesion of your pancha kosha with each other. Then everybody can predict, any astrologer can predict what is going to happen with this girl. But if you are going into the state of Purusha, this is Prakriti, then not even Brahma can predict what you will do. So people have changed destiny like that. They have beaten even Yama, death also. Sati Anusuya got her husband back from Yama. Nachiketa went on the door of the Yama and came back. So this is the value that our ancient texts say, that you are Amrutasya Putra. You are a lion. You are not meek. You are not a thing to be destined and pulled in all the directions. You should direct. You can win over the Kala. But that requires yoga sadhana. That requires you to really see each and every atom of you and then free yourself from the laws of nature. So here the yogis are doing that, no? They are disappearing. They are able to perceive things which people are not able to perceive. So this greater and greater freedom from the laws of nature is possible by the yogic science. And the more you get into the states of yoga, deeper states of yoga, the percentage of free will increases in that ratio. So, for a complete jada vyakti who is in a intense state of avidya, 100% fixed. For a yogi who has almost reached Kaivalya, 100% free will. In that state, when deeper samskaras also come up, not only all the karmas of this folder, the infinite folders that are there, everything, control all, shift, delete. So, even bhakti sadhana, mantra japa can do that. So this is the kind of science that we are talking about. Very deep, very. This is the Paravidya. All other vidyas are apara. This technology, space science, art, all those are apara. This is Paravidya because it goes to the very source of creation, very root. So in this sutra is telling, if you do samyama on the karma like that, if you are able to see what are the forces that are binding you in this very life, simple raga dvesha, yaar. Okay, I am not able to tolerate a particular kind of smell. I am not able to eat a particular kind of food. I am not able to hear a particular kind of sound or situation. That is very fast manifesting. It is manifesting every day in your life. You are moving away from certain things, moving towards certain things. So that is going to tell you, okay, this is the intensity with which this karma is going on. This much freedom I have. You will know how much freedom I have. In the same way, there are certain very deep aspects of your personality which are in the very core of your personality. So yogis contemplate on his own forces that are binding on him. And depending on those binding forces, it is very simple to know, even if somebody, is good in astrology and he sees your birth chart, will be able to predict fairly well when you are going to die. But that prediction is when you are experiencing or exercising no freedom at all. If you are driven by inertia of the forces of life as it is like this. This is this going to happen. But then, if a yogi is able to see that I am neutralizing these karmas, that I am becoming free from this dvesha, this raga, I am getting into different kind of zone, then he will also get an insight that how much time will it take for me to be free from other latent impressions. So in this way, he is able to predict how much of this life's karma he has to exhaust, because after exhausting or finishing that folder only, this life will be over. So the size or the baggage of the folder is directly proportional to the emotional kind of a baggage that a person carries, and that gives him an insight that this is going to be in this life, this is going to be in the next life. Okay. Also, Patanjali says that Anumana, you can do the Anumana by focusing on some Arishta also, which will also be a indirect indication of death. So, these Arishtas are certain kind of omens or certain kind of signs which the yogi perceives. Like in movies and all, you frequently see that if a lamp is there, the lamp suddenly goes off and the person is going to die, or person has died. Or there are, so it is not that it is something which he is imagining. When he perceives that omen, he gets an insight that this indicates something. It has a very complex mechanism, how that is connected in nature, that Jivatma lives and this is manifested in nature at that particular time. People have, experienced that when some people die, suddenly the weather changes, suddenly it rains very heavily, or it, does certain kind of things in the nature also. Especially when the person who is dying is in an expanded kind of a state. Then he, that kind of a change in his state also brings a change in the nature around, which can be perceived by the yogis. Okay. So fine. So we will continue this discussion in the next class. Any questions so far what we have discussed? Yes, buddhi according to karma. Okay, let us end. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. Thank you.